What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crypto Sherpa Show, where I cover the latest cryptocurrency news articles to keep you informed on what is going on in the crypto space, because all of you are really just eyeing the price of Bitcoin, but that's fun and all, seeing the volatility go up, but then some days when it goes down, it's like, what's going on? What's happening? So it's like, I like to cover the facts on what is happening, not really not much about the price action swings, because I know Bitcoin's going to go up in the long run. But that's what I do here. So before we cover the news, grab your coffee or grab your smoothie. And let's enjoy the show. So let's dive into the first news article. Well, not even the first news article. Let's cover this tweet right now because I thought it was pretty funny. But poor Ken Rogoff getting a public lashing. But if you say incredibly stupid things, you deserve what comes your way. And this is just because, I think it was a decade ago, he called for Bitcoin being $100 on $100,000. But hey, we're at 113,000. So he's put his foot in his mouth and he was going oh man, I was wrong, guys. And then everybody just started backlashing him. Let's see, there's some even comments in here that were pretty funny. Let's see, Ken Rogoff takes due sharks. Nope, not that one. Which one was it? Bold predictions in crypto can backfire fast. That's true. Ken's getting roasted harder than a marshmallow at a campfire. Some comments are just a recipe for disaster. Unless you can't admit when they're wrong are the worst. Bitcoin proved him wrong and he still can't take responsibility. So he has gotten backlash on it. There was a full article on it, but I didn't think it was needed to be covered. But what I do want to cover, though, is the Wyoming blockchain symposium that's actually going on right now. We had two great speakers there. We had, who did we have? Let's see. Yeah, so this was happening right now, today and tomorrow, the final days there. But we have speakers like Mark Gordon, we got Paul Atkins, Chris Waller, Cynthia Loomis, and Tim Scott. And the articles I'm going to cover is Paul Atkins' take as well as Tim Scott's. So I'm sure we'll be getting a lot more news articles coming in on what took place at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. But let's talk about Senator Tim's presence there and how he's saying key Republican senator expects that the Democratic support for the crypto market structure bill could get pushed through. So we just had the Genius Act passed, and that was clarity on stable coins. So who issues the stable coins, what are the rules they got to abide by. So that was a start of us going into some nice regulations here in the state. We know what to do, what we can't do, what we got to follow, because before this, we had no rules in place, and they were just saying, hey, go ahead, do it. But if you're doing something bad that we think you're doing, we're going to go after you. And there's no rules to say, oh, no, I was just following the rules. So this is why we need regulations. And so the Clarity Act is next. And I think it's supposed to be considered in September. But let's go through this article about just covering the potential 12 Democrats to vote on this. So the Clarity Act awaits Senate consideration in September, with Senator Tim Scott saying he expects 12 to 18 Democrats to back the market structure bill. Now, while the U.S. Congress remains in recess until September, one of the senators leading the charge behind legislation is establishing a digital asset market structure, said he expects bipartisan support, speaking from the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium in Jackson Hole. Now, on Tuesday, Senate Banking Committee Chair Tim Scott said that he expected at least some Democrats to join with Republicans to move forward on the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, or just Clarity, following the passage of the Guiding and Empowering Nations of Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins with the Genius Act. Now, South Carolina senator said that he had already been making efforts to reach out to Democrats outside of the Banking Committee to provide cover to vote for the bill. Now, we had 18 Democrats vote for the Genius Act, said Scott, and I believe that we'll have between 12 and 18 Democrats at least open to voting for the market structure. And that's a far more complicated piece of legislation, and that forces against its real force to overcome. Now, before the House passes the Clarity Act on July 17th, Scott said that the Banking Committee planned to pass its version of digital asset market structure before the end of September. Now, a draft version of the Senate bill released in July and tentatively titled the Responsible Financial Innovation Act builds on the Clarity Act, according to Republican leadership, but may be different from the House legislation. Now, are these realistic expectations for the bipartisan support? Well, Republicans hold a 3-seat majority in the Senate, making it likely that they will need some Democrats to pass legislation for the crypto market structure. And in addition to Scott's remarks from Wyoming, Senator Elizabeth Warren, ranking member of the Bank Committee, commented on the Clarity Act during the congressional recess. She said that we need regulation, and in an August 10th interview, but we don't need regulation run by the crypto industry. We need regulation that limits the corruption and the ability of elected officials to trade in it. And that also limits the ability to blow up the economy of crypto. Now, more than 70 Democrats in the House of Representatives sided with Republicans to pass the Clarity Act in July, suggesting that lawmakers on both sides of the aisle in the Senate may consider supporting the bill, and the chamber is scheduled to end its recess on September 2nd. So this is definitely a much needed, or not much needed, but it's just more rules in place for just guiding principles on how we're going to treat cryptocurrencies in the space. And for those wondering what the Clarity Act is, here's a nice little brief explanation of it. The Clarity Act will basically tell us who is in charge. It clearly splits the rules that the CFTC will regulate cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, so they're treated as commodities, while the SEC will still regulate tokens that act like stocks/investments. And then also exchange and platforms, crypto exchanges and brokers must register with regulators, but the rules should now be clearer and more consistent. And then the DeFi and mature projects will establish, or decentralized projects like Bitcoin or Ethereum won't face the same heavy rules as the new centralized projects out there. Now there'll be transparency. Big blockchain projects will need to file regular reports like updates on how they work with finances and etc. And then innovation versus protection. The goal is to protect consumers without crushing innovation, and just like the Genius Act. Some say it helps the industry grow. Others worry it's too friendly to crypto companies. So, simple takeaway, the Clarity Act is meant to finally give the US clear rules for crypto, making it easier for business to operate legally and for investors to know what's safe. Like how I said, like beforehand, we didn't know how to play it safe out there. There was no rules. So this is why it's needed. And again, we're now going to be getting clarity for who controls commodities and stocks, which leads to our next article from who was it? Senator Chair Paul Atkins, how he's saying that there are very few tokens that are securities. So would that mean then if this goes through, a lot of cryptocurrencies will be going to the CFTC to regulate those cryptos? Let's find out what he says, though, about like which coins aren't considered securities. So this is our next article up. Now, Paul Atkins spoke at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium on the SEC's Project Crypto, its relationship with the Trump administration, and its plans on handling digital asset regulations. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Paul Atkins suggested only a small fraction of crypto tokens should be considered securities as part of the agency's changing approach to what constitutes a security under its purview. Now, speaking from the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium in Jackson Hole on Tuesday, Atkins discussed how the SEC's Project Crypto initiative to establish rules on digital assets and how it could affect how the agency addresses companies moving forward. Now, he signaled that the SEC would chart its own path as members of Congress consider bills to establish the market structure, and he said that we cannot go about looking at tokens themselves as necessarily being a security. Now, in full, he said, from the SEC's perspective, we will plow forward, and on this idea that's just the token itself is necessarily the security, or it's not necessarily a security, and probably not. There are very few in mind of tokens that are securities, but it depends on what the package is around it and how that's being sold. And here's a photo of Paul Atkins speaking at Jackson Hole at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. Now, Atkins' remarks represents a stark change from those of former SEC Chair Gary Gensler, who said the vast majority of crypto assets were securities under the SEC standard of the Howey test. Now, Gensler resigned from the SEC in January on the day the U.S. President Donald Trump was sworn into office, leading to the Commissioner Mark Ulita becoming an acting chair of the agency until Atkins' confirmation. Now, we are still awaiting clear rules of the roads from the Congress. Now, while Atkins as chair presumably has the authority to interpret SEC rules and guidelines, including those covering digital assets, members of Congress are planning to pass a new law to establish a crypto market structure in September. And that bill is the Clarity Act. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act in July, and leaders at the Senate Bank Committee said they will build on the bill to pass their version of the market structure. Now, the Senate is scheduled to return from recess on September 3rd, and also speaking of Wyoming Blockchain Symposium on Tuesday, Senate Bank Committee Chair Tim Scott, which we just covered his article on what he discussed about how 18 Democrats could join with the Republicans in supporting the market structure bill. So yeah, he's saying he didn't specify like which tokens he like eyes like as securities, but again, it revolves around like how is it being packaged to the public, businesses, institutions out there. That's really going to determine if it's a security or not. But I guess he has some in mind. Didn't mention which ones or which tokens they are, but I guarantee we'll find out soon. But that's basically what I wanted to cover so far about what's happening at the Wyoming Symposium. I know there's probably a lot more interviews, discussions going on there, and we'll probably get more articles rolling through. But that's what's going on so far. Now let's move on to some more Bitcoin adoption news, because is Brazil going to be our next Bitcoin reserve country out there? But this article is actually even talking about Indonesia as well, weighing in. So let's find out, like, who. And let's see, can I get rid of this? No, I cannot. So I'm just going to leave that there, guys. But multiple countries, including Indonesia and Brazil, are now exploring the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve to strengthen its economic resilience and modernize financial infrastructure. So will Indonesia establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Well, Bitcoin Indonesia is a local crypto advocacy group recently met with officials from the office of Indonesia's Vice President, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, to present a national Bitcoin strategy. Now, Indonesia is currently assessing whether Bitcoin could be integrated into its national reserve framework, though the concept still remains in an early stage. And yes, seriously, Indonesia is looking into how Bitcoin could fuel long-term economic strength, and Bitcoin Indonesia wrote this on X. Now, during the meeting, Bitcoin Indonesia representative presented arguments for using surplus renewable energy to support Bitcoin mining and accumulation, and that's a great thing to do, get in the mining, because again, it's getting harder and harder for these countries and institutions to buy Bitcoin because it's a scarce asset. Like, I'm sure people are selling right now, hence why we're probably seeing this little price dip in Bitcoin. They want cheaper Bitcoin, but if they can't get on the exchanges or over the counters or the mining groups, like, not willing to sell to them, they got to go into mining. So hopefully they do use renewable energy to get into the mining sector. I feel like every country needs to have a mining farm or something going on with Bitcoin. But the delegation also distributed educational materials such as the Bitcoin Standard and the Changing World Order, stressing the importance of public understanding and institutional support. Now, a representative from the vice president's office reportedly agreed, saying Indonesia must continue to educate about Bitcoin in the future. Now, while Indonesia currently permits crypto trading, it bans its use as a form of payment, a regulation that was in place since 2017. However, growing institutional interest and domestic energy strategies have opened the door for deeper involvement in the Bitcoin economy. Now, U.S. interest sparks global trend. Indonesia's interest comes a month after the United States announced the creation of its own strategic Bitcoin reserve, and the move, authorized by an executive order signed by President Donald Trump, marked a turning point in Bitcoin's role in national economic strategy. Now, many governments view a Bitcoin reserve as a hedge against external shocks, including currency devaluation, inflation, and geopolitical instability. Now, unlike fiat currencies, Bitcoin operates outside centralized banking systems and offers sovereign control over digital wealth. Now, for nations with underutilized energy resources or weak national currencies, holding Bitcoin offers both diversification and strategic optionality. Now, the rise of institutional crypto custody, blockchain infrastructure, and global regulatory clarity has also contributed to the feasibility of sovereign Bitcoin reserves. In some jurisdictions, Bitcoin has been viewed as a tool to attract foreign investments, modernize digital infrastructure, and participate in the emerging digital economy on favorable terms. Now, experts have long speculated that the United States' decision to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve would trigger a global cascade of similar initiatives, and that trend seems to be materializing. And it's really true. Like, we're seeing it right now. More countries are going for it. And like, El Salvador was the first one to do it, and they're still buying 1 Bitcoin a day. Like, here's that little post about them doing it. They added it again August 19th. So they are just buying 1 each time. And like, what is their total holdings again? It doesn't say here, but no, even they're doing it. But hopefully Brazil takes a take on it, because I feel like the president and Brazil had communications before talking about how to adopt a Bitcoin strategy, what they're doing over here in El Salvador. So that could have led to this. So maybe Brazil will be next, but this article is still saying that Indonesia is still considering it. Now, Brazil moves closer to a formal Bitcoin reserve. So Brazil is one of the latest countries to take legislative steps toward a national Bitcoin reserve. The country's House of Representatives is scheduled to hold a public hearing on August 20th to debate a bill that would allow up to 5% of the nation's treasury reserves to be allocated to Bitcoin. Now, if enacted, the proposal could authorize an investment of approximately $15 billion. And 6 major institutions, including Brazil's central bank and finance ministry, are expected to participate in the hearing. However, the legislation may have trouble passing, as not everyone is on board. So far, Vice President Geraldo Alckmin's office has endorsed the discussion as being in the national interest, But the Brazilian central bank's monetary policy director has expressed skepticism about the appropriateness of Bitcoin in Brazil's foreign reserve mix. Now, elsewhere, officials across countries such as Pakistan, Ukraine, and Sweden have been vocal about their interest in exploring Bitcoin reserves. So again, countries around the world are still considering it, and they're looking into it because the noise is just getting louder. When Trump signed that executive order, it spread noise around the world. Like, hope we know this is going to start it, and we are seeing it's finally materialized, as they said. So Brazil may be next, then Indonesia. You never know. Anybody could pop up. But guys, it's like Bitcoin's not done yet. Like, all these guys are still claiming to see it $180,000 Bitcoin, 200,000 by the end of the year. There's still time. Now, some people out there are also seeing this as potential for like alt season coming around the corner, and yeah, that has to do with like Bitcoin's price dip going. So some people think that's happening because of this, but again, Bitcoin's still going to just keep going up because again, there is no stopping this train anymore. Just saying. But that's what's going on with Brazil and Indonesia, and just more Bitcoin adoption around the world. Now, let's continue on with some more Bitcoin news. I got 2 more articles for you before we'll take a break and then go into some altcoin news. But next up, we have SoFi to become the first U.S. bank to integrate Bitcoin Lightning. So this was from UMA. So SoFi Technologies will leverage the Bitcoin network under a partnership with Lightspark to better compete in the $740 billion global remittance market. So digital bank SoFi Technologies is set to become the first U.S. bank to leverage the Bitcoin network and universal money address, allowing Americans, Mexicans, and others to send money through Lightning Network. SoFi has partnered with Bitcoin payments infrastructure Lightspark to launch its blockchain-powered international money transfer service, which will go live later this year, starting in Mexico. Now, SoFi, or short for Social Finance, said in an announcement on Tuesday that for many SoFi members who regularly send money to loved ones internationally, the ability to quickly transfer money at low cost isn't just convenience, it's meaningful improvement to their everyday financial lives, SoFi CEO Anthony Noto said on X. And according to Noto, users will be able to send money internationally directly from the SoFi app, and it competes in a crowded global remittance market, which was valued at $740 billion in 2024. Now, here is this announcement from Lightspark and their partnership, SoFi Lightspark Instant Global Payments. Send money abroad in seconds right from the SoFi app powered by UMA. And it's coming soon for the United States to Mexico, with more countries following up. And you really don't need SoFi to do this. It's just they're making it easier to enter that market. Because again, Bitcoin, crypto, if it's in your own wallet, you can do this already. No international border. It's borderless. They send you the address. You send it to them. It's done. But this is just companies embracing it a little bit more, making it a little bit more centralized for them. But SoFi unveils how the Bitcoin UMA solution will work. SoFi's new UMA-powered international money transfer service will allow customers to convert US dollars into Bitcoin in real time and route the funds across borders via the Bitcoin Lightning Network, where funds are delivered directly to recipient bank accounts in their country's currency. So this does help out more than, I did say that like, anybody can send the crypto over, but if they need the fiat on the end of it, I guess they would need these apps. So it's making it a little bit easier and cheaper. But Lightspark's UMA allows users to transfer money with an email-like address while leveraging Bitcoin Lightning. The firm was founded in 2022 by David Marcus, former president of PayPal, and SoFi said that costs will be below the current national average and that exchange rates and fees will be shown to members before hitting send to ensure full transparency. Now, the service will be available at all times of the day, every day, for SoFi's 11.7 million members. Now, here's David Marcus's tweet that Bitcoin's neutrality, openness, and decentralization makes it a very compelling choice for banks as the replacement for antiquated corresponding banking versus other centralized options. No one wants to make another closed, corp-controlled payment network again. Open, we will win. So he's just talking about the openness of Bitcoin. It's decentralized, it's freedom, it's for everybody. It's like we don't need another king banks to do it. The Coinbase integrated Lightspark's Bitcoin infrastructure last year. So this just comes a year after Coinbase rolled out support for Lightspark's Bitcoin Lightning solution to enable instant low-cost transfers in April 2024. It saw strong adoption across the first 12 months, with 15% of the transactions on Coinbase moving on to Lightning rails via Lightspark, and the Bitcoin infrastructure firm said in April. Now, the Brazilian bank is slowly to roll out its Lightspark Bitcoin solution too. Now, we just say Brazil was about to or is almost about to be our next Bitcoin reserve country. Looks like they might really be if they're testing this out. Brazilian neobank Nubank partnered with Lightspark in June 2024 to offer Bitcoin Lightning payments to its 100 million customers in Latin America. However, Nubank still hasn't confirmed that the Bitcoin-powered payments have been integrated for full use yet, so we'll wait to hear about that. But no, so that's what's going on with SoFi, integrating Lightning Network with Lightspark to integrate it to all their 11.5 million users out there. And again, using the Lightning Network makes transactions cheaper than, say, if they just did it on the normal Bitcoin network. And then it's also faster than the normal, because all these transactions are happening off-chain before it gets implemented back on-chain to the Bitcoin network. But no, so pretty cool SoFi. Keep on adopting and improving yourself. Love hearing this news. Now let's go on to our last news article about Bitcoin on basically Bitcoin domain websites. Who needs 280 Bitcoin domain names, right? Well, it looks like a massive bundle of them is about to go up for auction right now. So let's hear about this. So auction house Lloyd's is offering a bundle of over 280 Bitcoin domain names, including some it believes are tied to early developers. So a collection of more than 200 Bitcoin-themed domain names is up for auction via a single sale at Lloyd's, the famed auction house announced on Tuesday. The collection includes dozens of geographical-themed Bitcoin domains like JapanBitcoin.com and AustraliaBitcoin.com, as well as more functional domains like BitcoinExchanges.com and BitcoinWallets.com. Other notable and or amusing names in the bunch include BitcoinForPizza.com, emailbitcoin.com, and bitcoinspotetf.com. Oh, is that something BlackRock's going to want? There's also bitcoinseedphrase.com, and that seems like that could be used for a scammer, so careful on some of these names. But tokenizedbitcoins.com and bitcoinnetworks.com. So there are just a couple of names of some of these domains up for sale. But this isn't just a group of good domains. Lloyd Auctions Chief Operations Officer Lee Hames said in a statement that it's the architecture of Bitcoin's internet presence. Whoever wins the auction won't just own names, they'll own the language of Bitcoin's digital economy. The Australia-based auction house previously held an auction for XBT.com, an alternative ticker to BTC that is sometimes used for Bitcoin, and it sold for more than $3 million on its own. Now, after setting the benchmark with XBT.com, we're now offering the infrastructure behind it, a full suite of digital assets that define the Bitcoin space online, Hames added. Now, some domains on the lot were registered as early as 2010, shortly after Bitcoin's emergence in 2009, leading Lloyd to speculate that the anonymous domain registrations may have been tied to early Bitcoin developers in that community. Now, in order to bid on these lots, users must be pre-approved by Lloyd's. The firm began accepting payments in cryptocurrency as early as 2021, accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other popular cryptocurrencies. Now, lot estimates are not listed by Lloyd's for sale, though the firm calls the auction a significant offering. Other popular crypto domains like BTC.com and ETH.com have traded hands for more than $1 million in the past, so most likely this auction will be doing quite well because, again, there's a lot of businesses and people out there who would love to have like a BitcoinExchange.com or just having that in its name, and a pretty good one. And who knows, I wonder which pizza place is going to get that bitcoinsforpizza.com, because somebody's going to love having that. But hey, if you want to try to be a part of this, again, it's not open for everybody. I think you got to get pre-approved for it. But yeah, if you want a chance on buying some Bitcoin domains and trying to flip it, go for it. But just letting you know that 280 of them are going to be up for sale. But that is all of our Bitcoin news for you. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we will be coming back with some altcoin news. What's happening in that space? What's going on? So we'll be right back, guys.
Attention visionaries and pioneers. The future of wealth is here, and it's spelled BITCOIN, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Men Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years, or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around $94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow.
And we are back, guys. And again, you can access any of our programs we offer here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club if you sign up and be a member. If you need a little bit more information, go to bitcoinben.io right here in the little corner, and tons of information for you. Or you can give us a call down here at 941-413-6920. Or I think that's our program's number. Call the club. That is on our website. That'd be a lot better if you want to get a hold of me or any of our operators or owners at the other clubs we have, because we have 5 out there right now. St. Louis is almost open. We're working on it, but we have 6 websites fully available for you to sign up to here in Sarasota, Nashville, Massachusetts, Vegas, Dallas, St. Louis, and we're planning at least 30 within the next 2 years. So if we're not near you, one may be popping up soon. But let's continue on with the news. What else is going on? I'm just browsing X over here, and looks like just in, Senator Cynthia Lummis says we will have a market structure done this year. Bullish. So come on, Bitcoin. Let's spike that price up. Like, is it going up? Is it moving? Nah, nothing really. We're just hovering out here. And I've been seeing some articles out there just saying like, oh, we could be seeing this for the next 2 to 4 weeks of just pulling sideways until we pull back up again. Again, that's just a price analysis. They're going off charts and the technical analysis side of it all. Again, I like seeing the news, what's going on, because you never know. Tomorrow we could get some big whale or country just fully on board and buying 1 million like Bitcoin, which they can't do. Like have 1 million in one shot. That takes pieces to do. But no, you never know what happens in the space. Nobody knows the future. But again, we go off charts, we go off news, and that's where we get some of these predictions out there. No, we can be 180 by the end of the year, or it's going to keep going. Alt season may play, so that's where a lot of these predictions come from. But let's continue on with the news. What else is happening in the space? Well, since I'm talking about altcoins and everything in alt season when it's about to hit, here's an article about a little about that technical analysis side on is alt season set to begin in September. Well, this is coming from Coinbase. Coinbase hints at a full-scale alt season in September as Bitcoin dominance drops and altcoin market cap surges. So that's how a lot of people are seeing this, because the Bitcoin dominance line, if you can check that out, can we get that here on this site on CoinMarket? Let's see. I know I pull it up sometimes. Let's see, maybe it's on the homepage. Let's see, dominance. No, but there's a way it is to get that. But they say like as the Bitcoin dominance goes down, that's paving the way for the alt season to start booming. So that's what Coinbase is saying. But according to a recent report from Coinbase, the crypto market could be heading into a full-blown alt season as early as next month. The report highlights a notable decline in Bitcoin dominance, which has dropped from 65% to 59%. And at the same time, the total market cap of altcoins has surged by 50%, now sitting at a staggering $1.4 trillion. Now, this shift in market dynamics typically signals a growing investor interest in alternative cryptocurrencies, altcoins like Ethereum, Solana, and Avalanche over Bitcoin. Historically, a drop in the Bitcoin dominance often precedes the alt season, where altcoins outperform Bitcoin in both price movement and trading volume. And this is why some people go out there and search for altcoins and just holding on to Bitcoin. Like their final goal still should be to like acquire more Bitcoin. Yeah, these altcoins could see a little bit higher gains like Bitcoin. Yeah, could it do another 2x from here? Potential, but these altcoins could do 3 or 4x. So it's like it's all about your perspective, what you are going to be doing with that. Are you going to be moving that back into fiat, which is a dying currency, or are you going to move into an appreciating asset? Like my mindset, it would be like I would take the altcoin. If it pumps, I'm moving it all into Bitcoin. That's what I would do. But again, don't do as I do. Do you. Do your research, see what works for you, understand your risk to reward, or understand your risk tolerance level, because that's the biggest thing. Like if you have a very low risk tolerance, like you may just want to stay with Bitcoin. If you have a high limit for it where you can handle it, then you should dip your toes in some of the altcoins. Take that chance. Like put in $1,000, but just assume that $1,000's already gone, because that's how you got to play the altcoin space. Like, don't get too hung up on it. So yeah, but let's continue on with this news article. So what is fueling the alt season forecast? Well, there's several factors contributing to the shift. First, improved network activity and upgrades among Layer 1 and Layer 2 platforms are driving increased attention. Ethereum's upcoming updates, Solana scaling solutions. Yeah, we did just see them handle 100,000 transactions per second. So we got that news, as well as the rising utility of DeFi and NFT platforms has contributed to growing confidence in the altcoins. And yeah, there's been NFT news popping up again, so it really does feel like this is just around the corner. But we've been saying that so long. And then second, institutional investors appear to be diversifying. According to Coinbase, institutional clients are gradually reallocating portfolios from BTC heavy positions to a broader mix of altcoins in anticipation of more favorable returns. Now, lastly, the general market sentiment is improving, with macroeconomic indicators stabilizing and the crypto market rebounding from bearish trends earlier this year. Investors are ready to explore more speculative but potentially rewarding assets. Now, here's the tweet from Coin Bureau. I mentioned that alt season is about to start next month, according to Coinbase, as he showcased the Bitcoin dominance decreasing. But September, the month-to-month watch, Coinbase believes September could mark the start of alt season, citing favorable market trends and increasing on-chain activity in the non-Bitcoin assets. And if the momentum continues, we might witness a major shift in the crypto leadership, at least temporarily, from Bitcoin to the broader altcoin market. And again, investors are advised to stay updated and consider rebalancing their portfolios if they wish to ride the alt season wave. However, as always, risk management and proper research remain key in this highly volatile market. And again, I was mentioning that risk management. Know your risk level tolerance out there. Because again, if you can't handle huge swings out there, because when you're in the alt space, like you can see that price skyrocket instantaneously, that huge godlike candle going up. But at the same time, you can see that candle go the opposite direction as well, very, very fast. So if you can't handle that type of movement that could potentially happen, don't do it. Stay with the safer option and just keep stacking your Satoshis, your Bitcoin, because that's what's going to save you in the future. It's going to just give you the freedom to actually control your money and not listen to these big middlemen who will hold on to your money in the bank. Don't do that. Take control of your assets and your finance and your money now. Bitcoin gives you that option to do that. So it's safe to do. Just hodl it and you're good. So that's our price predictions on what could be happening with altcoin season from Coinbase. Now let's continue on with some more news. For those Tron holders out there, looks like you'll be soon able to hold it in your MetaMask wallet. So Tron to be natively integrated into MetaMask, unlocking global access to Tron assets. So aligned with MetaMask, Tron strengthens its global blockchain accessibility and user-friendly cross-chain experiences. Now, in Geneva, Switzerland, the Tron DAO, the community governed the DAO dedicated to accelerating the decentralization of the internet through blockchain technology and decentralized applications, announced today that a strategic agreement with MetaMask will natively integrate Tron into the world's leading self-custody crypto wallet developed by Consensus. And yes, MetaMask is a highly downloaded wallet out there. I don't think they've ever been hacked, so it is. I do enjoy using it, but again, I stick to it usually just for Web3 projects. So as you're seeing here on my screen right here, like up here, like this is a Web3 wallet. It's a wallet that's always connected to your internet. And I don't think I have any money in here. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Just very little bits. Wait, no, that's on my TFuel account because I was helping someone transfer that. Let's see. Account wallet, TFuel. How do I switch my chain on here again? I forgot. I know I have more assets on here. Solana, nope, but no. So this is like your Web3 wallet. You interact with websites, you interact with decentralized exchanges. You need to connect it. So this is how I would use my MetaMask wallet for just Ethereum-based stuff, small stuff. I'm not holding a lot of assets in here, but as you saw my TFuel site, you didn't see the Ethereum blockchain. But I hold small amounts, but it's still a trustworthy wallet. I also like Exodus wallet is a software wallet. As long as it's on a crypto-only computer, I trust it, as well as Trezor. These three wallets are ones I fully recommend, and I haven't seen any issues with. So that's the Sherpa report on that. Let's continue on though. Why is this on here? So this integration will also enable MetaMask users to interact directly with the Tron ecosystem, which has a strong footprint across growth regions in Asia, South America, and Africa, and Europe. through their wallet interface, delivering seamless cross-chain user experience. It also supports Tron's ongoing mission to blockchain technology more accessible, user-friendly, and available to people worldwide. The collaboration reflects the aligned goals of Tron DAO and MetaMask in expanding access to Web3 and advancing user-centric innovation. The partnership underscores a shared commitment to building a more open, connected, and inclusive blockchain ecosystem across both product development and global community engagement. Now, the community spokesperson at the Tron DAO, Sam Alfaro, stated that MetaMask's extensive user base and established reputation make it a vital gateway to decentralized applications, as well as integrating Tron into the platform not only broadens access for users worldwide, but also reinforces Tron's position as a foundational infrastructure layer for global digital finance. Now, continuing on with that, with Tron's strong presence in Asia, this integration also helps us build bridges across regions and ecosystems, expanding access for MetaMask users around the world, said Angel Gonzalez-Capizzi, Director of Business Development at the MetaMask. Supporting networks like Tron is part of our broader mission to make MetaMask the most versatile and user-friendly gateway to Web3. Integrating Tron helps us eliminate friction by supporting more of the networks people rely on. Now, in addition to the technical integration, the collaboration between Tron DAO and MetaMask also include joint marketing efforts aimed at expanding global awareness and adoption of decentralized technologies. As adoption of Web3 accelerates across emerging and established markets, this integration reflects a shared commitment to interoperability, user empowerment, and accessibility. More details on the integration and user experience will be shared in the coming months. Now, what is Tron DAO? Tron DAO is a community-governed DAO dedicated to accelerating the decentralized of internet via blockchain technologies and dApps. Now, DAOs stand for Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. So people run the whole network and community, they govern it. So I believe if you hold like a Tron token, I'm probably completely wrong about that, but if you hold like a Tron token, use as an example, you're given at least one voting right to make a decision. So if they want to like improve the speed or their hash rate, I'm not sure how their network actually works, the community votes on it if it will get decided. So that one token gives you one vote for it. So this is how DAOs work. It's the community run. If you don't have one of those tokens, you cannot vote. Now, how do you verify if you have a token? It has to be in your wallet. So again, say it's in MetaMask, you're connected to whatever site you're on and your vote. And like when it comes to like connecting for those new out there, like let's see, let me just go to Uniswap and I'll show you like what connecting your wallet is. So you want to have a wallet connected to your Web3 browser out there, and up in this top hand corner is, well, there's my wallet. It's already connected, so you can see what's in there. Yeah, there's like $87 worth of Ethereum and USD coin. But no, this is how I connected my wallet to interact with this trade. So if I wanted to swap Ethereum for USDC, I can put it in there. My wallet's connected. So that's what it's really talking about. Like we need these like connected different apps out there, but some are specifically designated just for the Tron network. So each chain runs on its own network and blockchain. I'm kind of ranting on with that thing. So like if you're with Uniswap, for example, it only runs on Ethereum's blockchain. So you can only swap between Ethereum and Ethereum tokens. If you use the Radium decentralized exchange out there, that one's Solana. So you would need a Solana wallet that can connect to it and make those trades. So that's just the whole thing about connecting the crypto wallets out there. But yeah, so way to go on this integration. I love these partnerships and expanding even further. Now let's go on to our last news article I have for you on how crypto exchange Kraken acquires no-code trading firm Capitalize.ai to expand its pro platform. So it looks like they're trying to improve their platform for traders out there. Now, I am not a trader. I prefer just hodling because I don't got the time. I'm so busy here at the club with managing the live streams, just helping people come in and just all that. I don't have time to stare at a screen every day, put my stop loss in, and then keep an eye on it. Like I know stop losses and buy orders like do help with that, but you do got to be watching it like all the time. It's like I can't do that. But hey, if you do it, hey, you got a new platform that you may want to try out. But the purchase brings text-based strategy design, testing, and automation to Kraken Pro users. So crypto exchange Kraken has acquired the asset and technology of Capitalize.ai, an Israel-based startup that built a natural language, no-code platform for automating trading strategies across multiple asset classes. Now, the company said in a press release on Wednesday, Keith Buretti and Woods, a Stifel company, acted as an advisor to the Capitalize.ai. Financial details of the acquisition, and they were not disclosed. Now founded in 2015, Capitalize.ai developed a system that lets users turn everyday text into executable trading strategies. Okay, that's pretty cool. The company's technology supported real-time and historical data analysis spanning equities, crypto, FX, futures, and options, and its tools have been used by a range of traditional financial brokers and exchanges. Kraken said it will begin rolling out Capitalize.ai features on its Kraken Pro platform later this year, and the move is designed to lower the technical barriers to advanced trading, giving users the ability to design backtest and automate strategies without even writing code. So I wonder, can you just go in there and it's going to be text-based, and I just go then, put I'm in Bitcoin-USDT, put a stop loss at this price, and put buy orders here and whatnot, and then will it do it? If so, that's actually pretty cool. So again, I'm just speculating on how this could play out or how it's going to work. But if that's how it is, I think that's pretty cool, because again, you don't need to be so technical. It's like, where's the button? How do I click it? How do I add it? So this would make things a lot easier. But this acquisition gives Kraken Pro clients a powerful new way to act on ideas in real time, testing, optimizing, and executing bespoke strategies with unprecedented speed and confidence, said Shannon Curtis, head of exchange at Kraken. And in a release, co-founder Amir Shivoga and Shiva Robin, along with key engineering staff, will join Kraken Pro business unit as part of the deal with this. So, okay, so they're building their team too with it. But no, so yeah, Kraken acquired this firm, and looks like they're going to be using that technology to improve their website. So very, very cool. But that is it, though, for all the news I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in today on this Wednesday hump day. I hope you enjoyed the news, coffee, and whatever. So guys, if you did enjoy the content, be sure to like the video wherever you're on: Rumble, Twitter, X, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, Twitch. We're on 18 different platforms where we're streaming, so wherever you're at, hit that like and subscribe. And before we take off, let's take a look at that fear and greed index again too. Looks like we're at a 45. We're almost in fearful territory, but this is great news. I love following the fear and greed index, because when people are fearful, that's a good time to buy. But when people are greedy, the market could be due for a correction. We were in that greedy territory, so kind of makes sense with the price of Bitcoin being at 114, dropping from the 123 all-time high. Was that its all-time high? I believe it was. So it makes sense. So again, as this moves over, we should be expecting a nice turnaround very, very soon. But Bitcoin's currently at 114,000. Okay, nice. Let's keep it moving up. Let's be at 115, 116, and let's continue on there. But that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow with more crypto news. So take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
In a world where your data is constantly under attack, one company stands for your digital freedom. Introducing Calyx Solutions, your gateway to ultimate online privacy and secure cryptocurrency trading. Meet the Liberty Laptop. With its modified OS and advanced tracking prevention, it's your shield against surveillance. Access restricted areas, use recommended security software, and browse with confidence. Your digital footprint? Virtually non-existent. For the crypto pros, we present the Crypto Laptop. Pre-configured on premium hardware for secure trading. Optimized for your favorite wallets and exchanges, it's the fortress your digital assets deserve. Both laptops come with expert individual training and support. You're never alone in your journey to digital empowerment. At Calyx Solutions, we put you in control. No more worrying about data breaches or compromised transactions. Ready to join the revolution? Visit calyxsolutions.io and choose your perfect laptop today. Plus, become an affiliate and earn while sharing the power of digital freedom. Calyx Solutions. Unlock your digital freedom. Give us a call or text at 702-845-8276 or visit us directly at calyxsolutions.io.